Hey, what's up everyone, it's Mini Trades back here again with another video, and yesterday Sony just dropped an announcement for a couple of products that I think are going to change the game for professionals. So starting off with the first product, of course that's going to be that 300mm f2.8 prime lens for their full-frame cameras. This, of course, is a lens that's clearly aimed at professional sports photographers, since the 300 is kind of a good middle ground between 200 at the high end of portrait photography and 600 at the mid to high end of wildlife photography. The great thing here is that the lens is going to cost about $5,000, which of course for most people is still quite expensive, but I think for professionals it's a pretty good price point. Also, according to Gerald Dunn's video, this lens is quite light and it's also extremely sharp, which means that if you want to use a 2x telephoto converter, you can actually do that and get effectively a 5.6 600mm prime, which all in all would cost a little bit under $6,000 and come in at a little bit over a third of the price of that f4 600mm prime. So even for wildlife photographers who are maybe used to using something like this, which is the 200 to 600 lens, this of course is a 5.6 to 6.3, 6.3 being at the top end. You would basically get a stock better for just a couple $1,000s more than that lens. So, even for wildlife photographers, it's, I think, a pretty decent proposition, especially, like I said, if you throw in that 2x teleconverter. But, of course, the main star of the show was the announcement of the A9III. So, this is the world's first camera with a global full-frame shutter for photography. Of course, this also does translate to videography, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but this is a huge, huge leap forward for imaging, since now the sensor doesn't read out like an old-school printer from the top to the bottom, giving you that rolling shutter. Instead, it reads the entire sensor all at once, which enables, of course, 120 FPS continuous shooting with autofocus and auto exposure tracking. It also enables an insane 1/80,000 shutter speed. Yes, you heard that right. 1/80,000. This is all enabled by their new Exmor RS image sensor and Bion's XR image processing engine, which give you an amazing leap forward in terms of processing power and speed. Another great feature coming with this camera is going to be pre-capture, which allows you to press the shutter shortly after some action happens. So let's say that you are photographing the Olympics or something like that, and somebody does some insane backflip, and you want to catch them midair, but you miss that by about a half a second. You can hit that shutter and you automatically dump all of the frames that were in cache right into memory, so you actually would have captured that event instead of missing it. So that is a really, really cool feature for professionals, and something that I think will come in handy, of course, as long as you are already pointed at your subject. Obviously, this isn't going to work if your subject's out of frame or if you weren't focused or other things like that. But the next thing that's absolutely game-changing about this camera, especially for professionals working on huge events like the Olympics, of course, is now that this camera supports flash sync of up to 1/80,000, which is going to open up a huge world of creative possibilities for freezing action. Also, because of the global shutter, the flash banding that used to occur with some cameras in some situations is now a complete thing of the past. You don't have to worry about that anymore. The next thing that's really great is that we are getting rolling shutter free 4K video, and we're also getting 4K 120 FPS video without a crop. So this is a first for all of the Alpha series cameras, and definitely something that's pretty cool. Again, especially for you sports photographers out there who are going to be doing a little bit of video on the side. This is going to be great because it's going to give you a really nice buttery smooth, right around 5x slow motion in full 4K with no crop. So that is a really great thing. We're also getting some of the fun vlogging features like auto framing, which works sort of like Apple's Center Stage, and that tries to keep you in frame even if you move. So you also get a 9.44 million dot EVF with 240 FPS frame rate, and you also get, of course, dual CF Express Type A card slots and USB 3.2 with fast charging. So all in all, this seems like a pretty exciting camera that's obviously pitched towards the high end, towards professionals who need to capture great moments in sports. Though this is an absolutely incredible camera, because the sensor is only 24.6 megapixels, I don't think this is going to be a top choice for wildlife photographers. I think that they would probably still like to have something like this, the A7R5 with 61 megapixels, or the A1 with around 50-ish megapixels. But regardless, this camera isn't going to be coming out until right around early to mid next year. I believe it's somewhere around May 2024. And of course, this is coming in at a pretty hefty price point of $6,000. But if you can justify that, and if you are a professional, I think that this is an absolute no-brainer. It changes the game in so many ways, and I'm so excited to see what people create with this. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, definitely be sure to smash that like button, and of course, the subscribe button. We're almost to 1,000, and I'm so thankful for all of you guys who support what I do here, and I would love to see this community grow, so definitely make sure to smash that subscribe button and become part of the family. Also, comment down below your thoughts on the new A9 III or the 300mm. Are you excited about this announcement? Are you thinking about getting one? Let's talk. And, of course, I will see you guys in the next video. Later.